It has been 4 years since I sat in the hours of everyone sleeping, alone, institutionalized, with all my parts weeping. 3 days before that, alone in my bed, all poems been written, all stories been said, I huffed in butane and exhaled dread. Drunken and sour, I taunted the breath of each lasting hour. I called you, Margaret, and I said, help. Please consider this my thank you for coming. I was so scared that you wouldn't. These days, I take pills to close the gaps in my spirit, and if I stop, I fear it means I will tumble into darkness beyond your arms, not prepared to catch me. Psychopharmaceutical is a word without rhythm or rhyme. And each of these pills only buys me limited time. Tiny, yellow, small, round, and white. 3 bright blue in the morning, purple circle, green diamond at night. An oval for sleeping and 2 more for the shakes. This cocktail of medicine is apparently what it takes to maintain stability in my mercurial self. Some of us come into this world all too ready to leave it. And what keeps us holding on is our ability to perceive how awful it would be for our families to grieve it if we gave in to the futility of this rented mental health and sank into relief of a disappearing self. In the hospital, I studied the Gospels through their ancient, dusty tomes. I flipped the pages and sought out hidden poems, hoped that angels would erect scaffolds to build glorious homes amidst the alleys of my many mood swings. And I prayed things. I am not now convinced of my own significance, but I do know I was great once. I wove stories and contemplated faith, challenged preconceived notions and created spaces that were safe. I taught, drenched in a perfume called imagination. Exhaustion and elation were easy prices to pay to change the world one classroom at a time. Confidence was mine. Children turned towards me like magical flowers growing and following the moon, and I reflected the light of a forgiving and gracious God. I grabbed for stars before I fell and broke my fragile wings, didn't waste moments on self-deprecation or other caustic things. I knew I was worth what it cost. My mediocre surpassed average's excellence, and I didn't think my sanity was lost. But now, I rebuild one pill after another, identity shaken in the death of my mother, 2 sisters, both married with 3 children each, the death of my father, they're all out of reach. I know I'm not crazy. I just lost my will. My family is why I'll keep taking these pills, reestablishing some notion of a solid mental health, and beginning again, becoming myself. Thank you. Dreaming Delaware. We sat together after walking the spiral pathways of each other's insomnia. You felt like the first person to ever hear me. I swung pendulum triplet counts from tree swing orchestrations. You skinny dipped, swam striations like a soul filled with sediment. I thought of you the other night. Went to the top of a mountain, collected shooting stars in an old cigar box, left it at the foot of your bed, a nightlight to keep you company, fireflies at midnight. If we hold our breath long enough, perhaps our silence will tell stories of questions and kisses. In my dreams, we touched hands one night on the shores of Delaware, felt ocean sneezes tickle the bottom of our pants. It felt like sleep was only something to take the paintbrushes from our kisses. There was a blanket filling with sand. Future dreams will remind me of those waves when we are far from them. We looked at our footprints, a long walk to a spot of peaceful, as if any amount of time together would ever be enough. You looked up at a polka-dot explosion of sky, saw a star with a slight shade of blue, and named it after my skin. Our fingers never felt more like Lincoln logs. I wore short curly hair, and you held a holster for my lips on your jaw. I picked up a seashell the color of the coming dawn and held it at my ear as silver dolphins poked heads up from waves and carried the wish we made to deeper waters. Keep me. We dove into the ocean where freedom beat so strongly, but the waves carried us back to shore and placed us back in that spot on the beach, baptized in salt water and fishes clapping. We tried to keep waking at bay as long as we could, while the pesky neighbor of morning crashed the party and heaven played an encore with the moon. The sunlight wrapped around your smile, and I haven't kissed anything as holy since. My lips still taste of salt and wonder, and I will never let you go. I woke and saw us the next day, and the day after that, and 30 years from now, still finishing each other's sentence in the middle of silence, questions, and kisses. I think of that night when I am washing my hands in the porcelain sink, silver dolphins spilling from the faucet back in Delaware for a brilliant, fleeting moment. Believe me when I tell you, you are here when I speak this, that your body is just underneath my tongue, and with every line I can taste you. You left a love letter on my body, the letter I'd withheld from myself, the one you took for safekeeping. And if you're ever dreaming, walking that sacred place again where seagulls become protectors and sand a layer of skin, if through your closed eyes you think of my hand in your palm, you will still hear our two wishing voices in the last waves, in the last minute, in the last seashells buried in the sand, whispering a promise forever. Belated. Love's wild things. Brazen yellows, proud necks, pollen manes, fingernail moon. Polka dot sky, wish domes, blowing seeds, fierce ash freedom, black-eyed thing. Always wanted to write you a poem. Force, radiance, bend light left, light right, polarized plane discerns quartz. To say so required another language. Abrak adhabra, speech creates, comes from clouds, tickles horizon, curves up ridge, climbs cliffs, holds moon in tongue cradle only for a moment. Palm-assessed, erasure-streaked, burnt stone, ginkgo tree fossils, glacial lakes, sweet honey drops, gray drying mud, last breathing candle, overwhelming, generous night. This arrives late, but you understand. Time saddens, natural, logical progression, natural, logical separation. I am not compelled to live without you, just to spread wild things on the shoulders of the wind. Thank you. My name is Susan Peiffer. I am from Colorado Springs. You can find me through the Hear Hear poetry reading or at wheretohear@gmail.com. Thank you very much.